Okay, so before we should explain to the viewers what we're doing. So this week we watched Mac and Me, which was our booby film from the random selection. But we're all at the moment, before I press record on this, the four of us have been having a frantic, insane argument about who gets to pick the next booby film. So I'm doing a quick name out of the hat generator for that film right now. So Evan, do you have a booby film at all, or?
I'm gonna go with the film, which may not necessarily be a booby film for me, but for everyone else, it may be a film called Combat Academy. It was it's one of George Clooney's really first films.
You know what? I know exactly why you've mentioned that, because one of the girls in Combat Academy is in Mac and Me.
Can you all see the name generated on the screen right now?
Yeah.
Okay. So Combat Academy.
Yeah.
I thought Ed was going to say Spaceballs again.
Oh God. Andrew,
you'd want me to, wouldn't you?
Andrew, what's your booby film?
Mine is The Garbage Pail Kids.
Ooh, some stinkers in here already. I'm going to put mine down now. Mine is Leprechaun in the Hood.
Oh.
What? That's a new one. You heard a Leprechaun.
I know, yeah.
Add. It's not it's the, as in DA.
Oh, yeah. I spelled Leprechaun wrong. I spelled Leprechaun wrong as well. Leprechaun in the Hood. And Prog, what's your booby film?
I'm going to go for Friday the 13th, Part 8, Jason Takes Manhattan.
Oh, okay.
Oh,
No.
what? That's an amazing one.
Before I go into this, Prog, right, there are worst ones. The one we should have gone for was Jason X, but that is a slog to get through, and it's not a funny slog either.
Is this the one where the guy tries to fight him?
It's the only good bit in the entire movie.
And actually, I'm probably gonna spoil it for some people here. That's where his head gets knocked off.
It is, yeah.
Yeah, of course.
I so hope it's not Friday the 13th, Part 8. Okay,
I hope it's not either.
You guys only watched it I don't know, 6 months ago.
Oh. No, it's the Halloween franchise we went through.
We're gonna pick one now anyway.
Right.
Okay. Okay, so our next booby film has been decided. I'm going to stop sharing now. So yeah, that's Combat Academy is what's going to go into the list at the end of the show.
Is it from the makers of Police Academy by any chance? I've just seen the logo and it's very similar to Police Academy.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah. It's very Police Academy-esque.
Oh man, I hope it's
actually, from the man who brought you Police Academy and I don't know. It says
Combat Academy is so niche that when you type it into Google, you get actual Combat Academies first until you get to the middle of Google and then start to see the film.
It was called something different in America. It was called Combat School, I think, in America. Combat
High is also known as?
Yeah.
The sister of...
Yeah.
From Maccamee's in it. Tina Asbury.
Yeah.
Oh, man. Anyway, should we set up today's episode of Rewind?
You want to do your official intro ad?
Me.
We haven't done an intro for ages. I gave up on them.
I'll do a year ago. So this week on Rewind the Movies, we are watching the classic 1988 romp, Mac and Me, which was our booby film that came up in last week's Out of the Hat generator, which has now been replaced by Combat Academy for the end of the show. I think we can all agree that we'd all recommend this one. It was a fantastic film, and there's no issues or anything to go on with. Pretty short episode all round, right, guys? Or yeah, no, yeah, no.
Can I ask a question before we start? Never mind the recommend. Did anyone get enjoyment from this film?
Oh yeah, I've watched it 3 times since.
No, I'm going to go on record now, and this is probably the worst film I have ever seen.
That's quite harsh.
Oh no, it is, and I don't know whether it was the Chinese I had while I was watching it, but
I thought you were just going to blame the country.
I know. Georgie.
I tried to pick myself up when I was watching it, and I ordered Chinese food. So I don't know whether if it was that while I was watching it or not, but I felt physically sick at some points.
It's probably all the MSG you had, Ed.
Well, that's what I'm thinking. But to be honest, I'm going to blame the film for that as well.
So,
Can I guess the running order of what happened that night? So you watched 5 minutes of Mac and Me, then said to
Yeah.
Sean, "Oh, should we get a Chinese?" Watched another 8 minutes, then got the menu, decided what you wanted, waited a couple of minutes with some more Mac and Me, phoned it in, watched a bit more Mac and Me, and did it go like that?
Well,
you
No,
finished
I
watching Mac and Me this morning.
Yeah.
no, I finished it last night. But God Almighty, there's an hour and 49 minutes I'll never get back.
Well, it was only an hour and 39.
Well, I took 10 minutes to process what I just watched. To be fair,
You had to you watched. I think you watched the uncut Mac and Me. You watched the director's cut.
Ah,
Can I just say that Adam's emotional state as we watched the film went through many peaks and troughs. I think it was about quarter of an hour in, he said, "I quit." And then 40 minutes was it had with the McDonald's scene. He was himself laughing. He actually rewound it back so he could watch it again.
The McDonald's scene was great. I got to be honest. Then
Another 20 minutes in, he blurted out, "What is happening in this film?"
the film. Yeah.
No, it took me half an hour to realize what the kid's name was. I couldn't bring myself to the point of concentration to remember the kid's name.
His name is Me.
Well, yeah, that, you know. But, yeah, it was god awful.
Let's start then, right, with some memories. Has anyone seen it before?
Nope.
Yeah.
Well, I'm probably got his hand up, right? But I've got some memories of this film in the sense of some of the scenes I've definitely seen before. But yeah, I couldn't have told you beforehand that I'd definitely seen it.
I had this as a rental, and I'm pretty sure I watched it at my house, and it was during a birthday party. I can't tell you if it was mine or whether it was my brother's, but I remember there being several other kids around while I was watching it.
I reckon it was.
Hang on, before the jokes start, I was 7 or 8 at the time.
Yeah, it was last year.
I reckon it was like a scene from an Evil Dead film where it was no one's video. You just found it underneath. It just arrived itself like the Book of the Dead or something.
It was just under my bed for some reason.
There was a bolt of lightning and it just kind of like appeared on the table one day and you were like, "What's this by here now?"
Because I'm pretty sure that my parents got this particular film out because the cover looked so much like an E.T. film. And obviously I loved E.T. at the time. So I'm not going to blame my parents because they weren't aware of what the contents of the film were. But I will say that the viewing damaged me for a few years after.
Is this why you don't talk to your parents much anymore?
Yeah.
This film. Yeah.
This is where it started.
Yeah.
I'm going to say this now, right? When I watched it when I was 7 or 8 years old, I remember even then thinking, this is really bad. Like, really bad.
I can't think of a film. I can't even think of a film right now from when I was little. I thought it was really bad because when you're a kid, like 7 or 8, everything's kind of fine. You're just like whatever about stuff.
Yeah.
So I can't really think of any films I watched as a 7-year-old. I was like, this is terrible because you don't really have you don't really care what you're watching then, do you? So
I'm going to say this now. I didn't think this film was awful.
Wow.
I'm stretching my neck out here a bit, and I did think sort of opposite what Prog was saying. I was thinking I probably would have taken some enjoyment out of this as a kid. I don't remember whether I did, but yeah. The problem is it just rips off loads of other films, doesn't it? The main one being E.T. I did think at some point that wheelchair was going to start flying.
I did as well, yeah.
That's what it felt like, didn't it? Especially when he's going down the bloody road with Mac on his lap and...
I'm going to say no. That my main issue with the film is it's not even the, incredible depths of commercialization that it tries to carry out. It's the film, nothing happens.
No.
Absolutely nothing happens. I mean, there's an actual 5-minute dance sequence in a McDonald's to try and puff out the time.
Can I just make this call? Andrew, I know this is your show and I don't want to screw up the structure too much, but can we just move straight
It's
to
not my
changes?
show, mate. Anyone's show, this is.
Can we just move straight to changes tonight? Because there's not this. Forget the favorite scenes and aspects. Let's just go direct to changes. Because I think
I've actually got an aspect, a favorite aspect.
Oh, go on.
Even though, sorry, I was just going to say, favorite aspect is Eric has a Brave Star toy. That
Wow.
it took me back to when I was that age. You know, how Brave Star, Strength of 10 Bears, and all that. Yeah,
I don't remember Brave Star.
Oh, Brave Star's a great cartoon.
Well, funnily enough, we had someone asked us about Brave Star this week on YouTube in the comments section. Someone said I'd watched our 80s cartoon, I think, and so we've done a video, I should explain, on 80s cartoons that were based on movies, but someone said in that, and they explained, or they tried to describe this cartoon, and I basically said, you've just described Brave Star, because he was like strength of 10 bears or whatever it was.
Yeah.
So it's funny you come about with that, Ev. I didn't notice it at all.
Brave Star wasn't Strength of 10 Bears.
No, yeah, he was, wasn't he?
No, that was Defenders of the Earth.
No,
Brave Star was Eyes of a Hawk, wasn't it?
Yeah, but he had Strength of 10 Bears as well.
Oh, was it? All right.
Yeah,
okay,
yeah, Brave Star, Strength of the Bear. Yeah.
Strength of the Bear. Right.
I'm back. Sorry, guys.
That's all right.
Yeah.
You.
He had speed. He had the speed of the puma, which gave him superhuman speed. Strength of the bear, which granted him sufficient strength to destroy stone or support steel bridges. Hold on, I'm just getting it from Wikipedia.
I know he was Eyes of a Hawk.
Yeah, hold on. Oh god, they've got so many like characters and aliens and stuff.
I've got an interesting fact about Brave Star while Evan's finding that.
Ears of the Wolf as well.
Years ago. Not the bad guy in it. I remember his name. I think he was originally going to be a bad guy designed for another cartoon, but they thought that he was so good that he deserved to be the main bad guy in his own cartoon, if that makes any sense. I got a funny feeling it's like possibly He-Man, She-Ra, that sort of neck of the woods.
Okay.
I could be totally wrong on that, but
It sounds interesting.
yeah. Sounds plausible.
Yeah.
I've got another favourite aspect. I thought the soundtrack at times wasn't too bad. It wasn't horrendous.
The 80s cheese.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was good, I must admit.
Well, for the first half of the film, I was actually on board with Alan Silvestri's score. But what transpired was they, in the editing room, obviously felt the film was so poor that they needed to have the score in every single scene. So by the end of the film, the score ended up really getting on my nerves.
Yeah, it just didn't fit. It didn't fit what was happening on screen, did it? It was just like, it was like sort of exciting and like, you know, almost Back to the Future type music. But then,
well, Alan Silvestri did Back to the Future, didn't he?
But then all it was just like a shot of, you know, Mac's family just walking in the desert like someone pissed, offering everyone out.
Oh.
How you get those people like in Last Orders where they're just walking around there going, oh,
shoulders back, innit?
Yeah, either chasing ahead or shoulders back.
Yeah. Let's just talk about like the family. What were they, man? Like, you know, like you said, Prog said that they actually got people that were disabled to play them.
Yeah. The main
Prog said that. And I was like,
I kind
of believed him.
No, the main boy did. He had spina bifida.
No,
I said the Mac family.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
Right.
And I was like, in my head, I was like, is he joking? But then I looked back at the screen and I was all like, I don't think he's joking.
Adam was like, why are they walking like that? And he didn't know whether I was being serious or not.
I still don't know.
What
I
planet
was
still are they
joking,
from?
Dad.
The moon, isn't it?
No.
Looks
It's
like,
like a,
looks like
it's
the
a,
moon.
Mars, isn't it?
I
No, it's
read it as
not.
Mars.
No,
It's not Mars.
But it's next to Saturn. And
Mars is next to Saturn.
right there. You can see Saturn there, right there. Mars, the solar system. Let's have a look. We'll find out now because it's whatever.
Right, I'm actually looking at the plot right now, and it says a family of aliens on a dying desert planet.
Okay, well,
search subterranean water to drink through a straw, and then the NASA research probe lands and begins taking atmospheric samples.
Well, it could be. I reckon it's probably. I don't know. It could be Jupiter or Neptune. Could be Mars though.
No, it's not. It's not.
You saying it's out of our solar system, you pro?
Yeah, I am.
Yeah.
And this begins the problems with the film. Because how quickly does that NASA probe return to Earth?
Yeah.
If it's a dying desert planet, they could have just said Mars. In the script, they could have just gone aliens on Mars. And it would have been like, oh, all right, okay. So the probe takes like what, 6 months to a year to get back to Earth. No, they don't specify Mars. They specify a dying desert planet, which means that probe had to leave our solar system or galaxy, enter another one. That would have taken decades, maybe even hundreds of years to return.
I fucking hated the puppets in this film as well. Like it just.
What do you
Sorry,
mean puppets?
fudging.
Are they wearing puppets?
I'm looking at a picture of him right now, and I hated that Mac character so much. Like that little thing that was running around. I just wanted to kill it.
It weren't even cute. It was ugly.
I hated that thing so much. Like, oh my god! And the family, I hated them. I absolutely. I was praying for the military to shoot them. I hated that family so much. God, I hated this film. Sorry, but that's you. I'm going to outburst like that because I keep looking at pictures of it online, and I'm just like, God, I just hated it.
He's like a ninja, though, isn't he, Mac? At the beginning, like proper ninja.
Oh,
no one can see him. He's there 1 minute, he's gone the next.
I hate it. Like,
also, right? Do you know the military? If they really wanted to catch him, they should have been carrying vacuum cleaners.
you know, when I was watching this film, right, I kept saying to myself, I'm gonna wind Prog up and say this is better than ET. I can't even do that. I couldn't even do that because like I hated this film so fudging much. I was just like I was like I can't even say that because it annoys me saying that. That's so much I hated this film. I couldn't believe how much I hated this film. Like the way they walked and stuff, and like, sorry, I got a bite my tongue.
I know. I got to say, I think we should lay this on the table first of all. That this basically isn't a film; it's an advert for Coke and McDonald's. Let's be fair. Even down to the name of the character Mac. You know.
Well, no, what and the sweets.
Skittles.
Skittles. Yes, Skittles. I forgot about that. Yeah. But it. I think from a nostalgia point of view, I love like. I know I'm maybe jumping on a little bit, but the dancing scene in McDonald's, it reminded us of like when I was around like eight or nine, and it's you always want to go to McDonald's when you were a kid and stuff like that. And they had like
is that what McDonald's is like in Newcastle?
No, but like the type of seats they're all like the same plastic and the polystyrene Big Mac cases and stuff like that, and it's. Like I remember my local one at North Shields, they had like a little kids area which they reserved for birthdays, and they had like this is the best thing about it for me. They had little mushroom seats where you could just like swivel. Oh, to an 8-year-old me, I was in the element. Like I was just like, wee, yeah.
Well, that restaurant that they filmed it at, that's like McDonald's special restaurant, which they used for adverts, advertising, marketing, and for training. So it's not an actual like live restaurant, but it was kitted out like a dummy one.
Did you know that in that McDonald's scene, Jennifer Aniston's in there as well?
Yeah, she's one of the girls outside, but she's like a really young girl, and you can barely tell it's her, and she's
really?
barely on screen as well.
Oh,
She's in here. In fact, I'll don't know if I can share the screen here.
But do you think though, right? There's not really an 80s film unless it's got a bit of breakdancing in it. An 80s film can go one of two ways for me. It could either be jazz and boobs or just breakdancing.
I don't know if you can see this
Yeah.
picture.
yeah.
I don't really see that it's her, but
No, I don't.
You can kind of see from the side there.
it looks like, I don't know, a 50-year-old woman. I gotta move this.
Could be it. But yeah, it's Jennifer Aniston, allegedly. Well, why would she lie about that, right?
Yeah, I suppose so.
You know. But yeah, to be honest, but the McDonald's scene though probably was the best thing in the entire film because of how funny it was. But the film did this thing where they kind of like, yeah, there were bits that were funny, like when he fell off the cliff in the wheelchair and stuff. But
they were supposed to be funny though.
No, they weren't supposed to be funny, but that was very funny. But the film
that was my favorite scene.
But because the acting was so bad, none of the comedy landed ever. Like the bit when at the beginning when Mac is like running from he gets electrocuted on the fence, and it's also like a Looney Tunes kind of joke when he's getting electrocuted. It just annoyed me because I was like, there's something about comedy when it fails so drastically that just it's not like drama where if drama fails it becomes funny. When comedy fails, it just becomes annoying. Do you know what I mean? And that's what this film was just annoying. It was really annoying to watch. It was just like, it was a great booby film.
I like the bit just that scene where Eric falls off the cliff. That is funny, but just the shot of Mac diving into the water afterwards, that just creased me up because it's almost as if like someone threw a doll. It's just like, hey.
I did laugh when you saw his feet go under the water.
You laughed when that ballad came in as well, didn't you?
Oh, but I did laugh at that. But that's what you were saying, Prog. Like, what were your thoughts on the ballad scene when they were jogging?
Oh yeah, what's it all about? Why have they got a ballad over that scene?
Which scene is this now?
With the mother and the son. The mother jogging alongside the son in the wheelchair. Why is it a ballad in it?
Why is she jogging with him? And everything's just hilly around. I felt so sorry for the guy.
Also, right, Mac happens to find some electronic car that he can fit in, and he's like zipping after them faster than traffic with a bunch of dogs. And then when he's right behind the mother and the son, he decides, oh, I'm not going to join them on this run. I'm just going to carry on and I'm going to like fly this car off the edge of a hill. It's like, what was the point then?
I know.
Oh,
did anyone? Also, go on, Ad.
No, you go first, but.
Oh no, I was just quick one. Did anyone notice who Eric's mom was? She's been in something before as another kids' film as a mother.
Yeah. I was trying to work this out when we were watching it. I can't remember.
I think I've read it, but I can't remember what it is. Go on, Ev.
She was Regina Richie Rich's mom.
Oh, I wouldn't have got that.
Yeah, and she was in Wolf of Wall Street as well as Leonardo DiCaprio's mom.
Yeah.
She loves playing a mom.
I dare you to Google Regina Rich right now, guys. Dare you to Google it, and what comes up first?
No, I'd not Google it.
No, I don't.
Dare you to Google Regina Rich?
Share your screen and Google it.
No way. The algorithm would probably ban us for life.
Yeah. Andrew's actually Googling it.
I am, but it's just come up with like cartoons.
Is that what you're getting? Because I'm getting porn.
No, I'm getting cartoons. What's that say about your like preferences and?
There's a porn star named Regina Rich, I didn't know this until now. Well, obviously, Prog and Evan knew about this because they knew not to Google it. But yeah, also a porn
Wait a
star.
minute then. Let's just
I
put in Regina Rich porn star.
I didn't, but I did. I did just Google it, and yeah, filth.
Yeah.
Have you saved that to your favourites page now, Ev?
Yeah. It's
Yeah,
absolutely
bookmark.
filth.
No.
Hope Sean doesn't check your computer afterwards, Ev. You'd be in trouble otherwise, but if
I-
you do this for
I'm
the
gonna-
podcast.
I'm going to say that, the boy who plays Michael,
Yeah.
Jonathan Ward, I actually thought he was okay.
Was that Eric's brother?
No, huh? Eric is the older brother.
Oh, so who's Michael?
He's the one in the wheelchair.
No,
Oh, you
that's
thought
not.
he
No,
was-
Eric is the one in the wheelchair.
You thought he was good in this.
I thought the disabled boy was all right.
I thought he was atrocious. The worst one.
Oh,
was
no. There was another kid that you hated.
Girl. The girl. Oh my
Little
god.
girl.
I know it's not cool to like rip on kids and stuff, but if I was on that,
But you
film,
were going to do so, weren't you? Because you hate
I-
child actors.
I do her. I do with her. Yeah, she was terrible. But like, I was just thinking to myself, if I was on that film set, I would scream in her face to give up. I would just be like, give up. Stop trying. You are terrible. And I would gladly watch her run home crying because she was that bad in this film. I hated that character. I hated her portrayal.
So did
I
you
don't care.
hate it or did you hate the character?
Both. Why not? No, I don't know. Obviously, I don't know. I don't hate her, but like, it's just her acting was just the thing is when a film is this bad, like, you know, everything grates on you after a while. So when you're straddled with it for 99 minutes and like you've just got like it's just all failing, it just wound me up. You know, sorry, but I'm just being real. But if that woman is listening to this right now, I'm not sorry. In fact, let's find out what she's up to these days. Oh, she
Here's
changed
the
her name.
benchmark though. Do you prefer Newt to this performance or
Yeah, I
this
do.
performance?
I do, yeah. Newt is like Robert De Niro compared to that girl.
Do you know what's happening? Though? Do you know the latest films we watch with kid actors? Newt is slowly becoming a good performance because of everything that's being seen.
No. I will say, like, it was Debbie, her name, wasn't it? She hasn't even got a picture on IMDb. Oh, bless her. She only ever acted in 4 films. Her career was over after 1991.
Well, pretty much most of the actors from this movie, their careers were over after a couple of films. Eric only starred in a handful of things after this.
Yeah, Eric is the one in the wheelchair, Prog. I just checked it now.
Okay.
Michael is the older one. So you meant Eric was the good actor, right?
I didn't say he was good.
Oh.
You said he was outstanding.
Yeah, Oscar material.
I actually thought the brothers were okay. I thought they were okay. But then it could have been a case of everything else in the film was so bad that I was just like, you know.
When the film first started and we saw the aliens on Earth, before it actually got to them, I was a bit like, okay, for an opening shot, it's pretty good photography, nice matte painting in the background. And then as soon as we saw the aliens, that's when the film completely fell apart for me. From that point onwards, there was no recovering from this film. It was all just, and I'm talking like 2 minutes into the film, it just completely failed on every level.
So here's a question then. If the aliens and the effects of the aliens were better, do you think that would elevate the film to a point where people were like, oh, you know,
No,
I don't mind it? Or do you think it's all bad?
no, the script is bad. There's no story. How long is it before they actually find Mac? It's like 45 minutes.
I know. The thing is, right, this film is pretty much like, in the center of this script is just like this inoperable tumor, and it's gone to the lymph nodes and is beaten. The cancer's beaten for every part of the film. So even things like the aliens changing just doesn't solve it. The film is just awful. For like everything about it is bad.
How can you say that?
Has anyone spoken so poetically about cancerous films before?
I know, but it's true. It's just stinking.
How can you say that? That last scene where they get their US citizenship that should have been nominated for awards left, right, and centre.
Okay,
With the dad is there, like this.
I forgot about that bit actually. I did laugh at that. Okay, I did laugh at that bit, but not for like. I'm not sure if I laughed for the reason the film wanted me to, but I did laugh at that.
Do you know what? Do you know the other thing as well? Do you know the dad is always, right? Daddy Mac is always Ahmed, right?
Yeah.
Why does the mother and the daughter, why aren't they walking or acting the same? Like, it's almost like the actors in the suits didn't say, this is how we should walk. All of us should walk the same because this is how this alien walks.
Maybe Daddy Mac just like he thought I'm on such a film, I may as well get tanked up every day. So he just like, he gets royally mortal, but before each take, and then that was his performance.
Maybe.
Can I just say to you right now? I just found out, but it actually is set on Mars.
Oh, okay.
Because
right.
I'm on the IMDb cast list right now, and the aliens are all called Mars Mother, Mars Father, and so forth.
Oh, okay. All right. Fair enough.
Yeah. So
none of that is explained, though, and I think that's where some of the issue is with the film, isn't it? Like, there's not a huge amount going on, and the stuff that is going on, you're like, okay, what planet are they on? Why? I don't understand the straw thing. Why did they get ill on Earth? There's loads of little questions along the way.
Well, it didn't even say that they were getting ill properly. You could have just assumed that they hadn't had any food or water.
Yeah. And also they're from a desert planet. So how does Mac know to swim to save Eric when he falls off the cliff?
Yeah. And also, thank God for Coca-Cola.
Yeah,
exactly.
Because it saved their lives.
Did anyone else think that Coca-Cola might have sponsored this a bit?
Well, what I've got is the producer denies that McDonald's and the others funded the film, but he did secure funding from Golden State Foods, who are a food service company that predominantly supply McDonald's. But it's basically, and I have no issue with it, right? That is product placement, literally forced in your face. It's so blatant on this. Right. Again, I don't have an issue with it. But it's notorious, isn't it, this film?
Oh, that McDonald's scene,
I'm actually going to defend E.T. right now, right? But for example, in E.T., when he has the Reese's Pieces, right? I mean, fair enough, right? Yes, that's product placement, but, fair enough. It's fine because kids eat Reese's Pieces. It kind of works within the film, right? But when the character's dying and the only thing that can save them is Coca-Cola given to him by a girl that works at McDonald's, it's too far. Your product placement has gone too far at that point.
Well, also, right, when the camera actually follows the passing of a bag of Skittles between two people.
Yeah, but then as she passes it, it's like, oh no, hold on, I'll turn it around.
It's a little bit like Wayne's World when he's there with Pepsi.
Yes, it's the choice of a new generation.
I'm going to look for off.
I was going to ask you boys, right? Do you know if you were Daddy Mac, would you admit to being in the film?
Well, I know who Daddy Mac is. I've got his IMDb. I did have his IMDb up just now. His name was Jack David Walker.
All right.
And he hasn't acted in anything since 2013, and it's all just been like student films. And he's also a camera department guy. So, yeah, he's Jack David Walker, born 1st of June 1958. From Seattle, Washington. I'm naming and shaming this guy. That's who it is. JDW.
Well, he might be proud of being involved in it.
But let's right. He's only in it really because of his height. Surely, he looks a tall guy. So how?
Well, Jesus Christ! But they could have just rung me up. I would have taken my glasses off. I would have been in the film, man.
He was 6'8".
If next Halloween, knowing we do the Rewind the Movies Halloween party, are you going to dress up as Daddy Mac, Prog?
Yeah, shall I do that?
Just turn up naked with a Daddy Mac mask on and see what happens.
Oh, I'll have to have a flesh-coloured nappy on, wouldn't I?
Have about 15 lagers, and then just go about it.
Well, I can move my ears anyway, so we're all good there.
Well, you had a story about that, Prog.
Yeah, I was wrong, but I realised after I said it that I told Adam, right, that I was pretty sure that after watching Mac and Me when I was younger, I tried to move my ears, and I found that I could move my ears independently. And after I told Adam the story, I realised that that wasn't where I found out I could do it from.
Can I guess where? Can I
Yeah,
guess?
go on.
Goonies.
Yeah. Sloth.
Yes.
You mean this film copied something else?
Can I got a couple of questions, and you might be able to answer these. Why is it that 80s films always have single moms moving to a new area with a group of kids?
And their houses are always amazing.
Oh, this house is fantastic.
And I love it in the dialogue that they explain it. Ma'am, how can we afford this house?
It's because of E.T. I hands down it's because of E.T.
Did they move to a new area? In ET?
No. And Adam's saying that's why the single mom.
It's like basically the single mother thing. It's like I will give it to old Spielberg. Is him being like, oh, because he wanted to do a film, didn't he? So like kids from broken homes that have something to relate to, and everyone just.
I love this. This podcast is my retribution or reclaiming of E.T. as a good film. Adam has finally seen the light that E.T. had. Hang on, E.T. had some merit.
It's only when you watch it next to Mac and Me.
I'll take it, but I'll take it.
But like, it's just let's not get hasty here. But yeah, it's just. But E.T.'s the first one I can think about with a single mother in it.
Karate Kid is another one. I can't remember what year that first came out. That was about.
Always like all the fathers
84,
died, isn't it?
Well, at least you can explain it in E.T. that they have the house because the father left them, didn't he? So they were already at the house, and the father left the house.
He didn't die in that. Yeah, of course.
Yeah, he moved to New Mexico or something. But in this film, they'd actually move into this suburb where you've got all these amazing houses with so much land. Because I'm sure I'm sure there was a line in the film like, "Mom, is all this land ours?" And she says something like, "Only the first 2 acres," or something like that.
Yeah, only the first 25 yards.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah.
Well, me and Prog were saying that she probably works in the porn industry.
No, that's how you got through the film, is by convincing yourself that she was working in porn.
Because
she only worked in like Sears or
I know,
Sears,
and like
something like that. Target or whatever.
Well, I was saying to Prog, I was like, "There's no way she's not doing something. She's not doing something else on the side to own that, to have that house. Single woman as well."
So what you're saying? She's got like the first OnlyFans before OnlyFans. Yeah.
But the thing is, it's just like, no. By the way, let me just go on by saying again, I'm not saying if a woman has a big house, she has to be working in porn. But in this film, she's working in a Sears in the daytime. I think there's something else happening in the night to afford the house. And yeah, a bit of it was just me was a bit for me to cope with the film, to kind of entertain myself a little bit as I was watching it. But,
also, though, that job that she had in Sears, I think that was her first day, wasn't it?
It was her first day, yeah. So she's doing something on the side. She's got a side hustle to have a house that big, basically. So,
and she ran out on her first day.
Didn't she say something like she hadn't worked in years or something beforehand as well?
Do you remember that? Do you remember that really awful bit of the film? It was all awful, but like where like Mark wakes up in the morning and screws holes all in the house and stuff, and like ruins the living room by putting all random like deers and stuff everywhere, making like a woodland area. And then she just somehow sleeps through the entire thing. Then just walks in and goes, "I'm going back to bed now." And he's like, "Love, clean up."
No wonder your husband left.
But then she can't hear it within her own house. She can't hear an alien screwing walls in the house. But then she can hear Eric 2 acres away down by the cliffs going, "Help," as he's going down by the thing. So I would just watch it going, "What?" I was, why bother, innit? Why bother complaining about it?
I got a couple more questions. You know the wheelchair scene where the guys are chasing Eric?
Yeah.
Right? So let's call them the government guys.
And he's going so fast he has to dodge traffic.
Yeah, but also, how fast are they running anyway? They're like, for like 3 miles.
Yeah.
That one guy up front though, like he's got pure rage and determination on his face,
It was.
isn't he?
I'm pretty sure that's where the inspiration for Agent Smith came from the Matrix.
What I loved
What,
about
watching McAmee.
Yeah.
He was running almost as Raji as Mel Gibson in Lethal Weapon. Imagine putting Mel Gibson in Lethal Weapon after he goes out of the club and he's running in the rain up the street. Imagine putting him against Mel Gibson. Yeah.
Do you reckon if Mel Gibson's in this film, Adam would approve it?
I give it an extra point, yeah, for having Mel in it. But going back on Andrew's point though, what I loved about that bit when they were running that fast is when they got into the mall, because obviously Eric didn't have the benefits of having the downhill sort of lead then. So it would cut the shots of Eric just slowly like going on his wheelchair, but then cut back to the FBI guys going full pelt like this. And I'm like, that doesn't match, because he's going this fast and they're going like that speed. So it just didn't work at all. It was really weird.
I feel for Eric in this film though. There's multiple times where like his brother saying, "Oh, come on, Eric, keep up." He's in a wheelchair and they're like going cross country. It's like, oh, fuck's sake, come on. It's not fair.
Eric's dragging his battered and broken body across stones, like, well, come on, Eric, keep up.
Do you know when they go into like that mine shaft?
Yeah.
He shouts, he goes, "Come on, Eric, keep up."
Yeah.
Oh, Jesus Christ, I'm in a wheelchair, mate.
I know.
Is he actually disabled in real life, the actor?
Yeah, you got spina bifida.
Because I'm sure his feet moved.
I think your feet can move with that.
They moved when he was picking them up, Bev.
No, but he wasn't picking anything up. He was doing something like to the wheel, and all of a sudden you see his left foot just like move a little bit. I was like,
yeah, but isn't that a? I was going to say, isn't that a reflex thing? But I'm sure that's not what they have anymore. Isn't that like just your body pulling? So the rest of your body goes with it.
Oh, I don't know. It was just.
I just got into IMDb trivia here. Can I just remember one of the best lines in the film? This is an exchange from Michael and Eric. Michael, you know what I feel like? Eric, a Big Mac? Michael, you're psychic.
I don't remember that one.
That's in the film. That's a bit of an exchange in the movie. But yeah, it's right there.
Right, I got another question. How easy do the Mac family evade NASA? They just like more or less walk out to that facility.
Like, they may as well not be there.
Oh no, exactly.
Also, why have NASA got an airplane hangar right next to a main road?
Sorry, Brock. Airplane hangar stroke alien research center.
Yeah.
Stroke space station.
Yeah.
Well, that's it though, isn't it?
And none of the local residents saw the probe coming down.
Nope. That's this film.
What my major issue I have with this movie, and I got to bring it up at this point because otherwise I'll forget. I can forgive most of the things that happen in this movie. I'm saying this with a pinch of salt, obviously. But the one thing I can't forgive, Eric gets invited to a birthday party by a girl he met 5 minutes ago. I'd be really pissed off if I was that person whose birthday it was, wouldn't you? Oh, it probably came to me and said, "Oh, and I've invited my new neighbour. I've only just met him, and you're having this fantastic dancing McDonald's party."
I think Andrew's trying to tell us the truth here about when I invited Adam on this podcast for the fifth time.
Who?
No, but I sympathise here because obviously if you've got like a big massive kids party, you pay per head, don't you?
Yeah.
If someone's inviting someone else, I'm thinking mooching. No,
yeah, back in the day, a Big Mac meal probably like $2.50 or something. Come on.
Can I ask you both? Can I ask you both? Obviously, as fathers, a question. Like, all right. So, at which point do you get most annoyed? So you got this your kid comes up to you. They're like, Dad, my friend invited their friend to the party. So already like to McDonald's, to this birthday party going on. Oh, go on then. What are they like then? Oh, he's this nice kid. He's in a wheelchair. Oh, so I think I can ramp as well, do I? Like, you know,
Where you going with this?
would you think that to yourselves?
I'd be more concerned about the adult or the child-sized teddy bear that he was bringing in.
Oh
Which
yeah.
danced. By the
He's,
way,
he's a bit.
by the
he's
way,
a bit old for teddy bears, isn't he? Yeah.
by the
Okay.
way, that ramp thing was a joke. Everyone, if I would, these two would actually be more. As soon as they found out the kid was in a wheelchair, they'd be happier. They'd be like, "Oh, that's okay then." That's what would actually happen. So, go on.
But back in the day, right? If I had a McDonald's birthday party, which I wouldn't have, because I just wouldn't have.
We would have had to go to Cardiff for it. That's why.
Yeah. Or I may have had a little chef birthday party, right? So picture the scene, or a wimpy, maybe a wimpy over in Merthyr.
Oh,
I would have been allowed maximum of 5 friends. So if someone else came along and brought a mate and added 20% onto the bill, my mum wouldn't have been happy.
Because
I
your
reckon-
mother's not eating, is she?
No.
I reckon 6-year-old Andrew would have said it like that. So I was like, "Oh, thing is, mate, 20% extra on my mum's bill. Like you would have done the maths even at that age. Like How old were you guys? Because I think I was talking to Prog about this afterwards. How old are you guys when you first ever tried a McDonald's?
Oh, well into my teens.
Yeah.
I was 12.
Yeah, I was probably around that age as well.
Actually, no,
It's
maybe
like-
not. About 11, maybe.
I think I would have been. It would have been McDonald's over in Merthyr, which you had to drive to.
Yeah, I remember that one. That's the one I went to first as
on,
well.
on Dowler's Top.
By the Asda.
We had a McDonald's every time we went to Cardiff shopping, which was about once a month. My parents would drive us all, and I always remember saying to my mother, like, this was only a few years ago when she met me in Cardiff, and I remember saying to her, "How did you stand going to McDonald's every time we came to Cardiff? Because that's what we used to say we wanted." And she would just be like, because there was no McDonald's anywhere else. Just Cardiff. If we came to Cardiff, that's the only place it was. So it didn't feel like a chore, or you didn't get sick of it. Now there's a McDonald's everywhere, so it's just like, oh, I can't stand it anymore.
It was a huge treat though back in the day, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Well, when I was a kid, like, you didn't have one in Eberville. There was the one in Merthyr, which I never went to. But the thing that used to really drive me crazy when I was a kid was I used to see. So you'd get a new film out, right? Like a new Disney film. But then all the Happy Meal adverts would be on TV and you'd see all the toys. And I would always be like, I really want the toy. I really want those toys. But there was no way of having McDonald's back then, for me anyway. So I remember I always wanted to try McDonald's as a kid, but it was just never like an option. Do you know what I mean? So
well, at least you got to watch RoboCop when he was 6, isn't it?
Yeah, it's true, yeah. But I just remember the first time I went there, I think it was like Mulan had come out, the film Mulan. And that's what I tried from there. I remember having the Mulan toy from there and just being like off my tits and just buzzing about it. And you think about a Happy Meal now, it's only like this much, like a tiny portion of chips and a tiny burger in it. But
I remember like the old toys where you had like the portion of chips and it used to like
turn into a robot.
Go out. Yeah, something like that. And then like you had Hamburglar and what's the big purple monster thing?
A dildo.
Yeah, probably.
I can remember.
Yeah, it was just little toys like I used to crave, and the worst thing was whenever we used to go into like local town, the McDonald's used to be across the road from the bus stop, and I'd always like go to me mum and dad, can we have McDonald's? No, and just like drag it past.
There's McDonald's at home.
Yeah.
But do you remember like when I was a kid, it would just be like burgers was just like the only burgers you ever had was what your mum made, and it was just like bird's eye beef burgers in a bun with ketchup in it. I didn't even have cheese in it when I was a kid. It was just like that's what you had. It was just like, here you go. I'm like, you used to like them.
Oh, I used to love them. Yeah.
But I remember like I can also remember going to a friend's house when I was a kid though and seeing like they had like I forgot what film it was now, but they had a Happy Meal toy and being fascinated by it and being like, whoa, like getting to see one up close. I think it was like Aladdin or Lion King or something, and they had the toys over there, and I was like, whoa, this is a Happy Meal toy, and just being fascinated by it when I was younger.
If I take my kids there now, the toys barely last. They're like, well, crap. And they don't use like plastic toys anymore. They're all like cardboard or they're cuddly toys.
Really?
So yeah, because they've they massive sort of uproar about plastic pollution.
Like it's Happy Meals. I guess they have toys. Are toys really a big thing now for kids? Because obviously you've got the internet and iPads and stuff now, haven't you? So do they even care about toys anymore?
Well, a lot of the toys now do come with like that additional extra. You can scan a QR code and you can do something online with it. Kinder Egg is a big one for that now. The toys that you get out of there aren't great, but they have something with them. A QR code that you can then collect so many and so on and so forth.
It's just mad to think like how fascinated I was by toys, or we all were by toys when we were kids. Because I can just remember I would lie on my bedroom floor just with some toy, going like this for like hours, just playing with it. And you think back and you're like, what the hell was I actually doing? I was just lying there with a Spider-Man toy, just going like that with it and stuff. And it's just weird to think that like that's how you entertain yourself as a kid. But now kids have got like these things, and it's just, you can enter the Matrix and do whatever, basically. Watch any cartoon you want to. It's weird.
It's instant gratification, isn't it? Like my kids say to me, I want to watch Sing. I want to watch, I don't know, Encanto. It's like bang, it's there, it's instant.
You ever think about, if you or Evan or Andrew have ever thought about just uninstalling all of your Sky and giving them the 4 channels like we had when we were younger? See how they fit.
It wouldn't cope.
No. It wouldn't. It'd be like, yeah.
I had a chat this week actually with Rachel about gaming, and like at what point do I introduce my kids to proper gaming now? I'm not on about like an educational app on the iPad, but for a controller in their hand, because my daughter will be 5 in the summer, and I think I'm probably gonna buy a Nintendo Mini Classic. Yeah. And introduce her to some NES games. But I don't think she'll know how to use a controller. She may well totally surprise me and just pick it up and do it. But everything now is touchscreen.
Yeah. Well, PS5s and stuff, they all use buttons, don't they? So it's not all necessarily touchscreen. I mean, controllers are still.
No, I know, but but some of the younger ones, the first access they have is iPads and tablets.
Yeah, Nintendo Switches are really good for that, though.
I always remember once I was teaching once. One time I was teaching. I went into a different classroom with I took these kids into a different classroom, and I give them all they were like desktop computers in there. So I was like, okay, guys, we're going to do our work on these computers today. They weren't like old computers. They're like the kind of ones you get in a call center.
Yeah.
And like a couple of the kids that were like 15, 16, or they would have been 16, 17 actually, were just like going like down the screen on the monitors, like trying to touch it. I was like, what are you doing? They were like, oh, they're like, no, you have to use the mouse. And they were like, oh, okay. But they went to the mouse then. But it was just weird how they were pressing the screens. And these kids were like 16, man. Weird.
I worked in British Gas in 1999, right? And I don't know if it was the same when you guys were there, but you have like 2 weeks of training where you get trained up on the systems and you get to know what it is, right? And I always remember, it wasn't in my cohort, but the next cohort that came in like the week after. And the lady was like, yeah, I know how to use a computer, no problem at all. And she picked up her mouse and she was like putting it to the screen, trying to move the pointer that way. And so she basically never used the computer at all in her life.
She was sacked immediately.
Yeah, she was. She was like,
totally.
Yeah. Right, bringing it back to this movie. Final question from me, and it's not the recommend, it's another question anyway. But which ending did you guys have? So the question I am asking is, how did Eric die in the version that you've got?
The one we saw, me and Prog watched, there was the explosion. Eric flew out of it onto the floor, and then the end credits rolled up.
He didn't.
I love that Andrew processed that for 10 seconds and then realised Adam was saying it.
Because, do you know that there's a different version of how Eric dies?
No. What, is there a good version of the film?
Well, he drinks Pepsi.
No. I believe we've all seen the US version where Eric gets the building blows up, and Eric is caught in the explosion. Yeah,
Okay.
and you see like his wheelchair in front of the store.
Yeah.
The-
Even though he has no wounds.
Yeah, he's got no burns or anything. But there's a reason for that. There's another version where Eric gets shot by the police in the crossfire of them trying to shoot the aliens, and then the building blows up. So yeah, supposedly that's the American version that we've seen, and the rest of them, I think, is the rest of the world or the European version.
Right. Okay.
The
So
hardcore version, yeah.
yeah, that's quite hardcore considering of like who the main sort of like not sponsors, but people who contributed to the film. Like
You just reminded me as well. Eric is dead for like 5 minutes. So even if they brought him back, he would be brain dead.
Well, let's watch the scene, right? I got it up on my screen, but let's see what happens.
I don't want to.
Do we have to?
Oh, come on, we have to do it all. I want to see you get shot. Come on. Okay, ready?
Are we gonna get copyrighted for this now?
Well, just it should be fine. It's fair use in it. We're doing a review on this clip.
Yeah. Also, it's free on YouTube at the moment. Yeah, keep it mute so we don't have to hear it.
Oh,
that is rough.
Oh, really? The dad?
Wow.
Daddy Mac? Is he he's about to return fire?
They're still shooting him.
Yeah, I know what Adam would do if he was
that's-
directing this film. He'd have the coppers still shooting Eric.
It would have been a lot like the bit in RoboCop, but
yeah.
That is quite hard hitting, isn't it? The shot. Bloody hell.
yeah, quite good that is actually, because I was saying to Prog when that bit was on, I was like, oh, he's actually dead now because I don't want the film to go on any longer. I want this to be the end, but the film kept going, sadly. But
So that does explain to a certain degree why he has no burns on him and things like that.
Yeah.
I think.
yeah, well, doesn't explain why he doesn't have a bullet hole in him though.
Well,
Or blood anywhere.
bulletproof vest on. Oh, come on!
But,
Let's think about wrapping this up. Surely,
I got to mention one thing afterwards. The scene you mentioned earlier about when they get their citizenship. What's the deal with them like hugging and kissing all the aliens? Oh, honestly, I was just like,
Well, I don't understand why the guys who were chasing them from NASA, why they run in to the building to begin with. Are they like
'Cause
best friends with them or something now?
Yeah, because they saved Eric's
Yeah.
life. They're now old friends.
yeah.
Do you know where they were going after this sort to celebrate?
What?
McDonald's.
McDonald's, sorry.
Coca-Cola all around.
Roller
Skittles for
cola.
dessert.
So I do some facts on the budget. You may already know this.
If you
but,
want them, yeah.
but the budget was 13 million. It returned 6.4,
Oh,
so 50%.
Ooh.
And obviously, we know at the very end that there was potentially a planned sequel coming, but due to the poor reception, Orion Pictures cancelled that.
What would have happened in the sequel, do you reckon?
Back without me. Maybe.
Yeah, it's just like Mac and Us, it would have been called, and I don't know what would have happened in the sequel. I'm so happy they didn't make a sequel to this.
Mac and cheese.
Yeah.
But this does have like quite a online or cult following. There are people who love it because it's social.
Yeah, but there's cult followings because the film is good and didn't get the credit it deserves. And then there's cult followings because it's awful and people watch it for a laugh.
I wonder if one day, someone may make a crowd-funded sequel to it, with different actors, or an animated version of it. There must have been plans for a cartoon or something.
I will never do an animated.
There was a cartoon, wasn't there? I'm sure there was a cartoon.
No,
this has got like Deke written all over it, surely. Everyone's frantically typing now. Was there a Mac and Me cartoon?
I don't think so.
I'm sorry. I'm going to put one clip on a second because this is what I can see. It. Can you hear the screen when I'm sharing it? By the way.
No.
Mustn't be then.
I know what you're saying though, Ev. There's something in the back of my head that's like some cartoon of it.
Yeah, I thought there was. Maybe I'm getting it mixed up with Alf.
This is
Alf.
if this was a cartoon, this is what it would have been at the end of it.
We can't rip on Deke too much. Only because they brought us turtles.
Was it Deke that made Turtles?
I thought it was. Oh, it's not, is it?
I don't think it was Deke. I think it was I forgot I don't think it was Deke though. Deke did loads of other stuff. Deke did the Sonic cartoon though, which I used to love. Deke
no.
cartoon list.
Can we get on with this, please?
Oh, they did Jason the Wheeled Warriors. That was quite
Oh,
good.
I like that.
Double Dragon.
No, not Turtles on it. They did Hurricanes though. Frog's favorite TV show.
Oh,
Oh,
that was the football one, wasn't it?
Yeah.
yeah. Champion. Oh,
Should we
brilliant.
do
I need that G.I. Joe.
Obviously, this has been a podcast episode. We've just flipped around this film so half-assedly because it's. But should we do the recommend bit and then move on to the fun part of the week, which is the choose a random movie?
Can I just say one thing? Angelica Houston and Kim Basinger were both offered the role of the main female. What's her name?
The mother.
No, I say the main female, the sister.
What the?
Courtney.
Angelica Houston.
Oh no, that can't be right. They were both
Angelica
offered the
Houston
female.
would have
It
been
must
the
have been.
mother.
It must have been the mum. Yeah.
Yeah,
But anyway, Kim Basinger, obviously, yeah. She turned it down and took on the role of Vicky Vale instead.
Oh wow, that worked out, didn't it?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Right. Anyway, I'd recommend.
Oh, shut up.
Shut up. Who would you recommend this to?
I'd recommend it to anyone who wanted to see a bad movie. Like, I wouldn't recommend it. No. But if someone said, I want to watch one of the worst movies out there, I'd say, go and watch
So you would recommend it?
Yeah. Yeah.
You could say that about anything, though. If so, like I could have said that about any, like
No,
Michael.
but that's what I'm saying, though. I wouldn't recommend it unless someone specifically asked me that question, which I'm highly unlikely to.
So you would recommend it?
I told you I would.
No, for me is a no.
What was your rating, Ad?
1 out of 10.
What was
That's
the
quite
one
good.
for?
One.
The McDonald's scene.
Right, okay. All right.
Yeah, I was going to say, that's quite good. You're giving it a 1.
I've only ever given one film a 0 out of 10.
What was that?
Scream 5.
Screen Fight? Oh, yeah, you hated that, didn't you? Yeah.
That's the only film I've ever given a 0 to.
So was Ghostbusters 2 a better mark than this one?
I think I give that 1 out of 10 as well.
Oh, what?
Yeah, that
You're a
go.
rating system.
Yeah, but thing is, Ghostbusters 2 is, yes, obviously I'd rather watch Ghostbusters 2 than this, but Ghostbusters 2 is trying to ruin a great film at the same time, so that's why it gets the 1.
Well, Prague would argue this is trying to ruin E.T.
Yeah.
Well, it doesn't, because it for someone like me who doesn't like E.T., I watch it, I appreciate E.T. at the end of it, so really, it just pushes E.T. up.
So has E.T. got a new rating because of this film?
I don't know what I give it. I think E.T. got a 2 when I rated it.
You did?
2.
No, I didn't think you give it that low. Probably give it a 6, knowing you.
No, I'd give it a 2 or a 3, I'm sure.
No, it's 3. It was 3 because we mentioned it in a podcast I've recently edited. I've gone back to some of the old podcasts
So
to put them on YouTube.
is E.T. now worthy of a 4, Ad?
Give me 2 minutes. I'm looking. Oh, it did
Come
get
on.
a 3 out of 10 ET ad, but now it is going to go up to a 4 out of 10 ET is because of this film.
Come on, let's wrap this up.
I wouldn't recommend it. I can't.
No, not a chance.
Oh,
Okay.
right. Yeah, let's do this next film.
Yeah, hopefully the next podcast episode will be a lot more like juicier and more things to talk about for this one though, because like this has been one of those painful films. Okay, so just gonna quickly go over the rules quickly because some people might just tune in. We all pick 2 films each. We have
We're not on terrestrial TV here. People are coming.
I know,
halfway
but-
through it.
I know, but this might be some people's first ever episode of Rewind the Movie. So
Hang on, let Adam do it. This is his
Yeah.
game show slot. This is what
It's time to shine. Yeah.
thank you, Prog. Yeah, so we all pick 2 films each. There's 2 films from the viewers going in there, and then we have 1 booby film, which is Combat Academy, which I'll put it in right now. And then and the other one was Page Master, which was picked by Aaron. True Romance who was picked by
Baron Leach.
Baron Leach, good old Baron Leach, and then it was Combat Academy. Yeah. Okay. So let's go run. So Evan, what's your 2 films? But
The Paper is going to be there.
Still
And
staying?
yeah, no, I'm going to change. Mr. Mum's on the back burner. He's having a lie down. I'm going to put Volunteers.
John Candy.
Yeah, and Tom Hanks.
Okay. Prog, what's your 2s?
I'm going to stick with Spirited Away.
Yep.
And I'm going to go off the cuff. And I'm going to go another John Candy film, and I'm going to go Armed and Dangerous.
Yes, get in. What a show.
Right, so we're pretty much like 50-50 on watching a John Candy film this week now. Andrew, what's your 2?
Right, I've decided that I'm never going to pick the same 2 films each week. So I'm going Wayne's World
Nice.
and Dragnet.
Wow.
Oh,
I'm going to go for Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, the movie.
what
TRTLE Power.
the original,
Yeah.
the MC Hammer thing.
Oh,
Yeah, okay.
Which I genuinely believe to be one of the best comic book films ever made. And the other one I'm going to go for is King of New York, which stars Christopher Walken. It's like a gangster film with Lawrence Fishburne and Christopher Walken from like the late 80s. Brilliant movie. So watch none of those 2 get picked now, because mine was never come up. Ready?
Oh, boo-hoo.
I know. I reckon
Yours did come up because you picked Mac and me, didn't you?
No, that was Prog. That was Prog. I picked that.
No, hang on. Whoa. Let's rephrase
No,
this now.
I think it was Adam.
It was Prog.
No. I suggested Mac and Me. I never picked Mac and Me.
You said put Mac and Me as the booby film, and we did.
Yeah, but I didn't pick it for us to watch, did I? The generator picked it.
So no, you've fired back from after bingo now, but that's all I'm going to say. So I got to think of something. I got to figure something else. So I reckon my prediction right now is that we're going to get fucked in the ass right now, and Combat Academy is going to come up.
I'd love it. I'd love it if it happened.
It can't be 2 boobies in a row, man.
Oh,
Yes, get up there.
Armed and Dangerous. I've never seen it. So next film is Armed and Dangerous.
Bye. And on that note, yeah, let's go. Cheers all.